On June 9, 2022, the Canadian entrepreneurs in New England hosted Accelerate, Technology and Innovation. In this company showcase, Chief Strategy Officer Mark Smithyes led a presentation on Micellae to a panel of industry experts.
Thank you very much. Delighted to be here in the great city of Boston. Thank you, Scott and Shane, for putting this together. It's terrific. John, Loie, Vineet, thank you very much. Very grateful that you're here today listening to us. Really excited to tell you a little bit about Micellae. My name is Mark Smithyes. I'm the Chief Strategy Officer for Micellae Delivery Systems, and we're revolutionizing the cannabis sector. To understand the problem here, you need to first understand that we're clearly focused on extraction and formulation. These are two stops in the cannabis value chain that are expensive, only marginally effective, and where there's been little innovation. So the cannabis sector today wastes billions of dollars on processing cannabis and ends up with a suboptimal product for customers and patients. The problem is that these compounds are oily and they cannot be dissolved in water. Oil and water don't mix. But this is essential for the production of all non-combustible cannabis products. So to overcome this barrier, current technologies rely on solvents such as ethanol, hydrocarbons, and supercritical CO2 for extraction. Solvents are volatile and dangerous and harmful to the environment, while supercritical CO2 based extraction is considered more environmentally friendly. It requires expensive equipment, takes longer time, and requires a skilled technician due to the complexity. And so that limits the implementation of this method. And once cannabis is extracted, once the extract is produced, the oily nature of the compound results in low absorption and bioavailability for the patient and consumer. Edibles can take 1 to 4 hours to work, and less than 10% of cannabinoids are absorbed. Think about that. Literally 90% of the active ingredient is flushed down the toilet. While some technologies have addressed the limited bioavailability, they have significant compromises, including slow onset of action, complex and expensive manufacturing, an unpleasant taste, a short shelf life, and concerns associated with the extensive use of chemicals such as polyethylene glycols, known as PEGs, and the inability to produce some commonly used dosage forms, tablets, capsules, patches, for example, you don't see in the sector. So where does Micellae fit in? Well, Micellae is based on 15 years of research out of the University of Toronto, and it's resulted in a revolutionary water-based extraction technology that we call Norex, and a next-generation drug delivery technology that we call O2W, oil to water. So Norex is a water-based extraction process using proprietary extraction media that can be applied to fresh cut or dried hemp and cannabis. The time and cost associated with the traditional process is eliminated, so there's no expensive equipment required, leading to significant cost reductions. There's no use of chemicals, it's environmentally friendly with a competitive yield. The O2W, the oil to water, is a proprietary drug delivery formulation platform which significantly enhances the solubility, bioavailability, potency, stability, and time to onset of action of cannabinoids and other fat-soluble compounds without compromising on the safety, the sustainability, and performance. So here too, we eliminate the cost of the expensive equipment, the need for specialized technicians. It is a self-microemulsifying drug delivery system. Add to the water and stir, and that's literally it. In short, we allow for significantly better products for patients and consumers and a significantly lower production cost. How am I doing for time? About a minute left. Okay. Well, let me tell you that the cannabis market globally is huge. That's not going to surprise anybody, and it's growing. I read this morning that the Safe Banking Act is maybe going to pass before the midterms here. Not sure if that's going to be true, but certainly we're headed in that direction. It's a growing market. I think the other piece that I'd like to share with you is our traction. So we are pre-revenue, but only just. We have one white label deal signed. We have two major companies, one in the U.S. and one in Canada, where we're finalizing the agreements. We're in the testing phase with a dozen or so other companies, and the deal with the contract manufacturer has been signed. And so our short-term priorities then are ramping up commercialization, conducting a human study, not a regulatory requirement, by the way. That's more for marketing than it is for regulatory. Establishing a manufacturing footprint and working on a pilot scale validation of the extraction technology in Oryx. So to achieve these objectives, we're looking for $2.3 million and strategic partners. And so our commitment to our investors is to leverage the world-class expertise, our proprietary best-in-class technologies, and the growing global market to generate revenue with a high profit margin. Thank you for your time and attention this afternoon.
The potential passage of the Safe Banking Act notwithstanding, is there a perceived benefit to having a U.S. subsidiary as opposed to running the business out of Canada?
We perceive that there is a
operational
benefit to have a U.S. subsidiary. Love your comments on that. It's one of the discussions we're having. Do we need a U.S. subsidiary? What is the right timing? How important it is to investors looking at us that we have a U.S. address and a U.S. facility. So I'm going to throw that question right back at you guys.
I mean, I think given the industry, you might not rush for that from a legal perspective. I think the venture capital community has gotten a lot more comfortable in recent years with investing directly in Canada, and particularly if there's a benefit from a regulatory or financial perspective in doing so. So I might, think hard about that one, and maybe look for dollars that aren't going to force you into a Delaware corp. Politically, you're right. I mean, we're advancing, but who knows? There's still kind of tripwires and things to think about.
Lots of tripwires. Yeah. Yes.
I guess for me, I wanted to kind of your business model. So, do you want to go direct to consumer, or do you want to be behind?
Yeah, great question. So it's a no. We're ancillary to the cannabis industry. So we're not producing any product. We're helping either a white label company or a cannabis company produce their products. So if they want a gummy which is more potent, faster onset of action. Faster onset of action is really the big thing with edibles. And we can speed that up to the point where it's almost the same as inhalation.
And do you license your technology to them? And
license the technology and a revenue sharing model. Exactly, yeah.
What is this technology?
So the technology is the self microemulsifying drug delivery system. So that's the technology. It's the ingredients which allow that self microemulsifying. That's the IP. That's the 15 years of research. Food-based ingredients.
So it's a materials technology.
It's a materials technology. Yes. Yeah. The founders are.
The extraction process is the same. You're just adding this material.
It's a slightly different process. It's a slightly different technology, but it is related. Yeah. The two chemical engineers are the founders of the company.
Yeah. So I was an early investor in this space. Former employee of mine, started a company. He's actually very knowledgeable. Mm-hmm. So at some point, we can just connect you. I think he's now running Berkshire Roots.
Okay.
Which is, all the way to retail.
Yes. Okay.
Farm
yes.
to retail kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, there are a couple of extraction labs here in town. I know I've visited, a couple of them. You'd be surprised how advanced they are.
Mm-hmm.
It's no different than a pharma biologics lab.
Yes.
And the people who are running it, had that level of chemistry, knowledge. So, you have the people here who know how to apply this. So, yeah, I don't think you need to set up a U.S. subsidiary. I think I would just be an ingredient supplier. The people here.
Okay, that's great feedback. Thank you, because that is a strategic question for us as to how we approach that. So
Yeah, I think the real question is if there is a consumer differentiation here of, how quickly it uptakes on edibles, then somebody might want a 6-month, 12-month advantage.
Yes.
Into the
Exclusivity
market.
on the technology.
So,
yes.
So I don't know I'm a little out of touch, but there's some bigger players that are more national. I mean, I'd go talk to some of them than try to just go for some small local players.
We've done a bit of both. We've taken the attitude that a customer is a customer, so and we seem to be making traction on both sides. But we're certainly open to the concept of.
Well, what about in Canada? Are you not getting traction in Canada?
Oh yeah, yes. So one of the big companies we're talking to is Canadian. One of the big ones is U.S. The white label company is Canadian. So yeah, we're getting traction on both sides of the borders. But the commercialization effort is very, very new. So, but we're pleased with where we're going so far. But we feel to take the next step to get that commercialization really kick-started, as well as doing some of the continued research on the extraction, because that's not quite as far advanced. That's where we're looking for the two.
It was impossible to raise money for here in the U.S. because of not having national laws, and in the end, this company.
It is non-plant touching. I don't know if that.
Yeah, it didn't make a difference. Ours wasn't either, but
yeah.
But
Okay.
it was actually the guys, some of the original guys who did Keurig.
Yeah.
So we created the Keurig of vaping, right?
Okay. Yes.
So dose management
Yes.
and all sort of, and it was really good. It was a great product. Could I get it funded? I mean, we ended up raising $3-4 million from individuals, but couldn't get institutional funding.
VCs.
So we ended up actually selling out to one of the producers in Canada. So I have penny stock in some company in Canada.
Okay. I'll let you know how it's doing.
So you might be better off raising money in Canada.
Okay. Okay. A couple of really great pieces of advice. Am I allowed to take questions?
Sure. Yeah.
I know we chatted earlier, but I've also thought you've got in your deck here. It's a drug delivery technology, so you need to be really careful as you go forward your strategy, the price point for delivering drug, for having an excipient, something that's going to deliver drugs that otherwise won't make it to the market, which is what this has potential for.
Yes.
Is hugely different from the price point that you're going to get for cannabis delivery.
Yes.
And if you go down the cannabis market, you might actually shoot yourself in the foot with the price point you could charge for the pharmaceuticals. So just something you need to think about as you develop your strategy.
It's interesting, and the strategy, and you're right, this is applicable to pharmaceuticals, it's applicable to nutraceuticals, agriculture, food. This is really a platform technology. One of the reasons we focus on cannabis is because of the I wouldn't say easy regulatory, but easier regulatory. The time to market was faster. It's a big growing market. The need was huge. As I said, the innovation in the space is almost nil. So. But it's a really, really good point.
So what other oral bioavailability do you need to speed up? I mean, most things now become effective, definitely within a few minutes.
I'm working with a company now that has got 10% bioavailability for its drug. Its drug might work, might not. The cost of goods is huge because you're throwing away 90%.
Oh, so it's not speed, but percentage.
So it's either speed or very few drugs need speed. Headache, you need speed. Heart attack, you need speed.
Allergy, you need speed.
Yeah, but there's a lot of drugs that are out there for chronic diseases. You don't need speed. You need the ability to get the drug in there in a cost-effective way, and poor bioavailability.
And is that what this platform is?
It has potential.
This will enhance bioavailability. Yes,
absolutely.
Yes. Yeah, 100%.
And my concern is if you go down one route and you get set in that, you'll be perceived as with low margins. Why are you going to charge me over here for that? So it's something you need to think about in your strategy.
Yeah, it's fair comment. Appreciate it. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, terrific. Thank you.
Thanks to the Consulate General of Canada, Nova Scotia Business Inc., and Foley and Lardner for sponsoring the program. For more information about the CENE and future programs, please visit thecene.org.